Hello and welcome everybody to New Earth Consciousness. Tanya here, and I am with Natasha Octavia. She is an awakening coach. She's also is a spiritual business coach for those of you that are in the spiritual world of business, or I'm not saying that right. The people that are it's spiritual entrepreneurs. Thank you. So I'm like did not sound right. So you're into branding and sales. You're also a psychic medium, and so I love the topic of awakening. I find it super fascinating that more and more people are waking up, and so I'm super excited to have you here and share with us your journey and yeah, what you do with others. So welcome.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So first of all, remind me where are you located at?
I am in California.
Okay, California. And so share with us like your own personal awakening journey. How did that happen?
Oh man. So I have been kind of intuitive or knew something pretty much all my life since I was a child. And as a young adult, I was always getting like intuitive hits and understanding that there was an other side and all of those things. And then during my 20s, I kind of just drowned it out, with doing things, 20, 30-year-olds do, partying, hanging out, trying to drown the noise.
Hmm.
My awakening really like became like full force in, I want to say 2019. I went out of the country. I went to Cartagena, Colombia with a group of female friends for my friend's 40th birthday. And I think like maybe the third day we were there, I feel like I just had an awakening, like I just woke up and I realized like I'm a spirit in this body. Oh my gosh, what's going on? So I started Googling and YouTubing like awakening, what's happening, and started finding some spiritual teachers and following them and went from there.
Was there like a physical shift or change, or was it like how did that awakening feel in your body? Or was it more of just like a knowing of like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not just this body. I'm a spirit in this body. Was it just like a moment of clarity of just like,
It was more of a moment of clarity for me. I think the
yeah,
physical things didn't come till much later.
yeah. When you work with people that are awakening, what are the some of the symptoms that people experience when they're beginning that process? I'm
Just
curious
not
about, yeah.
just not feeling grounded is like one of the major things, or they just feel overwhelmed, anxious. Sometimes they hear chatter, they hear voices,
Hmm.
um, or just they just have this clear knowing and feel like they're freaking out. Um, so
Hmm.
just a lot of that. So what I tell people all the time is ground, hug a tree, stand in the grass, go to the beach, get some sun, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because it can be really disorienting. I know like my awakening experience was a lot like that. That feeling of being ungrounded, I could not ground for years. Like it was it took me years to finally ground down. And it's so funny now people are like, "You have such a grounding presence." I'm like, "Boy, let me tell you, I didn't used to." You know? So amazing. So it's pouring rain here, so I'm a little distracted. We usually don't get rain, but it's just been like thunder and lightning and rain. Anyway, so this awakening process, you came to the realization that you were this spirit in a physical, that you weren't the physical body, you were this spirit, and so you were with friends in Colombia, right? So in that moment, like, what happened? Did you turn and tell your friends, like, oh my gosh, you guys, this is what just happened? Or were you just like,
Yeah. So I guess something physical did I just felt nauseous. I felt really nauseous for some reason. And I just told them to go on, you guys go out. I'm going to stay behind. I'm not feeling well. And when they left, I like exhaled and I got on my phone and I started researching all these different things.
How did you know what to look up? Was it because what did you look up?
I started looking, I don't remember the words that I used, but it was just this clear knowing, I guess. I don't know how I knew. I just,
Interesting.
it,
Yeah, and then so from that point on, so you got back home, and how did things begin to unfold from that point? Because you, at that time, were you in real estate then?
no, it
No.
wasn't. Well, actually, no, I was. I was in real estate. I was actually in the middle of my first flip.
Okay.
The business was there. I was in the middle of my first flip. Um, and I started looking up spiritual teachers and watching their YouTubes, and that's how I started to understand. And the fast forward to coming home, um, once I came home and I went back to work,
Mm-hmm.
my normal job and all that, because being out of the country was great. And also, one thing I'll say, they had a lot of fresh food, no processed food in Colombia at all. So I think that that had something to do with the clarity that I was receiving. When I got home and I went back to work, I couldn't be there anymore. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like everything and everyone appeared different. I felt alone in a room full of people.
Wow. It's so interesting how I feel like there's a lot of similarities, in terms of, I would, yeah, it would be interesting to see, and maybe there's books out there, but like mapping this awakening process or what's possible, because I remember the exact same thing in my awakening of just feeling like I could not withstand negativity of any kind. Like if somebody was gossiping, it was painful. It was literally like, I cannot listen to this. Like, please stop. It was really hard to withstand anything like that. So you quit your job, and so then from there, I mean, I can't even imagine, like, here you were on this one path, something radically shifted. You're like, I can't do this anymore. What was the next step?
I feel like I manifested my way out of corporate America. You know, I did. I manifested my way out of corporate America. I ended up getting into real estate with a really great team, and I'm still with them now. And I kind of took a leap of faith because the tail end of 2019 and then 2020 came right around the corner. Then, so I finished out 2019, then COVID came in 2020. And
Hmm.
so I finished out a few months of work, but I just cringed every day. And then COVID, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith. It's now or never. And my spirit just knew it was time to just jump ship.
Hmm.
I was scared, but I did it and it paid off for me.
Wow, amazing. And so did your psychic gifts start to come online after a time, or how did that start showing up?
Yeah, so I've always been pretty psychic, but I wouldn't do it on purpose. So I'd give friends predictions and just, I knew that was going to happen, or I'd see things before it happened and I would talk about it. But um, I just was feeling so overwhelmed that I got a spiritual coach. I
Hmm.
got a mentor, and she kind of, okay, calm down. This is what we got to do. So she started teaching me things, and I began to understand how my gifts worked, and then practicing and developing over these last 5 years.
So she kind of helped give you some frameworks maybe
Yes,
to utilize your gifts.
yes, yes.
Interesting. And so, um, what were some, if you don't mind sharing, like what were some of the things that were taught? What did she teach you? And I imagine is that kind of what you learned is what you also pass on to your clients that depending on what it is that they need. Yeah.
Yep. So before I had a few mentors. So the first things I learned is how to ground, right? So I ran into this crystal shop that I used to go buy crystals from. I used to love crystals. I love crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran in there and I said, I had a spiritual awakening, and I'm just blabbing. She's like, calm down, get some jasper. So she put a jasper stone in my hand. asked me how you felt, and I said, I don't know. Oh, I feel better. Oh, okay. So crystals for me are really big. Um, but I did a bunch of exercises with that particular spiritual shop first, and I learned how to ground. Then my spiritual teacher taught me how to close my crown, open my crown, so I can control when the information come in and not or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether I wanted to tap into it or not. And then she taught me like more grounding. She taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to connect with my higher self, connect with my spirit team, my spirit guides, um, how to connect really with my chakras, how to clear them. She taught me how to use oracle cards and tarot cards, more grounding techniques, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious, like, when, as far as the clients that come to you that are going through awakening process, like, are you finding that it's a certain age group, or is it like all walks of life?
Mainly a certain age group, but I haven't, I never been asked this question. But it's like my age group, and I'm 40. I'll be 46 in November, so it's people from like late 30s
Mm-hmm.
on, like through their maybe like 50s and on, but like really that age group is the most, yeah, people that
Gotcha.
I, yeah, interacting with.
Just curious, like, because it seems to be, um, yeah, I was just curious. Um, so let's talk about your business coaching. Um, because I find that a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs sometimes struggle in getting their business off the ground. You know, what would you say is kind of what's the most important thing to focus on when someone is building their business? If they're in this, you know, in the spiritual entrepreneurship side of things.
Branding. I say branding is one of the top things because a lot of times what entrepreneurs do, brand new entrepreneurs, is they have shiny object syndrome. They know what they want to do, but they don't know how to brand themselves, how to perfect their offer, their niche. They often do multiple things. So sometimes you have five different things that you do. And like, I recently met a woman who's a spiritual coach, and she's got two websites, two different businesses, two different links, all these different things, and she needs to brand one cohesive
Mm.
thing, and brand yourself as a person, right? So you're a personal brand. That's how you set yourself apart from everyone else. And so really tapping into and figuring out what your brand is, what your offers are, I think are one of the most important things you need to do as an entrepreneur. Um, I kind of help people with that. We tap in, and I intuitively can just, okay, this is what it looks like. These are your colors, your offers. So I help with all of the things to get you branded right the first time, and have your I guess your coaching clients coming in correctly the first time and all that. So just really honing in on your niche.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so branding just means your your voice, your story, your colors, like your fonts, all of those things. Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
all those things. Yeah.
Hmm. And how do you, so how, social media, I feel like, in when COVID hit, like everybody went online. And there was a lot of like, I feel like there was just this like explosion of now's the time to go online. And I had kind of felt before then that it was time to go online. Especially for those of us that live in smaller communities like myself, I was like, I don't live in a place where there's a big enough population to support the kind of work that I want to do. So I knew I had to go online. And then there was this big explosion. And I feel like part of the challenges is like, how do you stand out in the online space?
Yeah.
Set yourself apart.
It's your signature niche. You just have to find your core offer, your brand.
Mhm.
We're all different and unique. There's hundreds of thousands of people, but we're all unique. No one's alike. So even if you have two people that have a very similar type of business, different people are going to be drawn to you. There's no competition. I don't believe in competition. I believe we're all, collective. We all rise together. Each one teach one. We all hold hands and align with each other. And I love working with spiritual coaches because there's no competition. Like you do something different. I do this. We might both be branding experts, but my style is going to be different than your style. So we can both go at it together and whoever you're going to draw, you draw. That's just how I feel about that.
Mhm. And so I love that you bring in your psychic gifts with this because I feel like with a lot of business coaches, oftentimes they have one strategy that they've figured out that works for them, and then they try to teach that strategy to their client. And they just assume that that one strategy is going to work for everybody. And that's not the case. That's what I have found the hard way. Like, great, I mean, good people, well intending, but I find that, um, well, for one, it seems to me like, okay, if you're just a business coach that doesn't know anything about spiritual entrepreneurship, then probably isn't a match. That's probably not someone that you're going to want to hire. I'm guessing. Am I right or wrong about that?
If you are, can
If
you,
I'm a spiritual entrepreneur, okay, and I go and I hire someone that's just a business coach, but she has no idea what it is. She doesn't understand what it is I do. She doesn't get the whole, like,
right?
she doesn't understand my work. Like, how my experience is like, how is that person going to really help you brand your business if they don't really understand the nature of your work?
Yeah, I don't think that they can. Um, they may have some ideas and some framework, but to really dig in and make the business run and be sustainable, it takes more than that. You need to be able to tap into the person's individual uniqueness and brand it the way that it works for you, for the client.
Mhm.
But every business plan is going to look different. Every branding is not cookie cutter for me when I brand people.
Right. And so so you work one-on-one with clients with their branding, right? It's not like a group program and all of that. And so so share with us, like, what are some of the things that you kind of guide someone through that who's a spiritual entrepreneur and they want to have success. What are the steps? What do you help guide them through?
So we talk about all their offers because they usually have a bunch. They have a bunch of offers, a bunch of programs, a bunch of ideas. And so we hone in and we go in and we intuitively figure out what are your three things that you do. We take those three things and we brand them into one thing. So we create the umbrella and then the things that the offers underneath it. So it doesn't need to be like three separate businesses. It's one business. And then we just brand it to give one clear message. Okay. And we have some different offers, like different level packages, always in threes. And then from there they can kind of choose what they want to do. That makes sense. So it's kind
Mhm.
of, it's all on display, but very neatly and not
Right.
confusing. So we take the confusion out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that for people that are creative visionaries like myself, it's like you want to just share every single thing, every single idea that ever comes up. And so, yeah, focusing and building up that offer or those three offers so that they're crystal clear. Maybe they're tiered, I'm guessing, or something to that effect. Yeah. And so how do you help in the realm of sales?
Sales. So I am an expert in sales. I've been in sales all my life, from anything to everything. And um, people struggle, especially if they have a higher ticket offer and they are not good in sales. They feel like sometimes it maybe, is it worth it? Are they going to buy from me? And that doesn't work. So I teach them how to kind of get out of their own way so that they can charge what they want and collect those high ticket clients. And then also I teach a lot about the objection cycle and how to just get their client, how do you get your client out of their own way, right? And I think the objection cycle is a big thing in the sales community. So I teach them that very well. That's like I'm a pro at that. So they can close sales and grow their business.
Mm-hmm. Can you give an example of like a typical objection and how you reframe it or redirect? I'm just
Okay.
curious. Put you on the spot.
It always boils down to the money.
Yeah, it
You
always does. I don't have the money. I can't afford it.
can't afford it, but you're here, right? You're here. And you're here because A, B, C, D, and E. So the secret sauce is really understanding your client's needs.
Mhm.
Okay. And once you understand their needs, if you have a solution to their problem, it's just getting them out of their own way. I'll just say that it's getting them out of their own way, and it's utilizing the objection cycle, which is really just helping them to see why they're there in the first place. Because it's not that they don't have the money. It's if they're saying, I don't have the money, it's they don't see value in your program. They wouldn't be on the phone with you if they didn't have any money. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So it's about them seeing the value in what you have to offer and you being able to display that, and get them out of their own way to see the value in their product and that they have the solution for
Mhm.
what you need in order to make that sale.
Yeah. Interesting. Very cool. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, you know, I one of the things that I am proud of is real estate, and investing in multifamily real estate, learning real estate. I
Oh,
feel
what is that? What is that? Because I don't know. I've never heard that term, multifamily real estate.
Yeah, multifamily real estate. So it's just multifamily. So instead of it being a single family home, it's a multifamily. So maybe it's a duplex,
Okay.
um, a triplex, a quad, or an apartment building, you know? So I like to buy apartment buildings or duplexes, triplexes, quads, and fix them up and rent them out. I do it remotely. I've learned how to do it from California. So I never go to my properties. I'm here in California and everything is done by running my team remotely. And so I've learned that skill. And it's a skill that no one can ever take away from me. That's always going to get me paid. And I feel like if people have the means to learn how or have the want to learn how, it's totally something that can help you build long-term wealth, passive income. And if you're looking into generational wealth for your family, it's a great way to go. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody that's listening, they're just like, I have some money that I want to work with. And so typically I'm curious to ask, so if somebody was interested in growing their wealth that way, how much money does someone need to have to take on a project like that?
Well, if you have to have some money because if you're limited in funding, like say you have $20,000 and you invest it, now it's gone. So the only way that you can make money now is you have to be the operator of a deal. So that means you're going to need to learn how to fish. You're going to learn how to go find the deal, run the deal, all of that.
Mhm.
So you don't necessarily have to have any money because you have sweat equity. You can find the deal, and there's ways to get into real estate by just being the owner operator of a deal because you can partner with people, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, Also, a lot of times people don't know this, but if you have like a 401k or an IRA, those funds are movable. You can move them into real estate, and oftentimes you double your money, in a few short years by moving it into real estate. So learning what you can do with your 401k, with your IRA, or any other kind of funds or savings that you have that are not liquid, is a good way to get into real estate as well.
Amazing. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I watched some clips from 60 Minutes about 401ks and the fact that a lot of people don't realize there's like all these undisclosed fees. You can lose money in that account. Like it's not the best thing. It's not the best thing. But we're not taught this, we're not taught anything about money.
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, we're just not. I mean, I never was taught anything about money. I'm having to learn now, and so a lot of people just accept like, oh, I've got this 401k because my job offers it, and I guess it sounds like a good thing. I don't know what else to do with it.
Yep.
And I just don't think about it. But so that's powerful. Awesome. So how can people find you?
I'm easy. find, I am under Natasha Octavia. So natashaoctavia.com is up and coming. And Natasha Octavia, you can search me on Facebook. You can search me on Instagram. It's either Natasha Octavia or Natasha Octavia Official.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I love that you are a spiritual entrepreneur that's also very much connected in the world of money and creating wealth. We need both to have impact. So yeah, so thank you for that. Beautiful. And yeah, I think that so again, just to recap, you help people with awakenings, anybody that's going through awakening symptoms, is feeling disoriented, is not understanding what's going on, are frightened, just want someone to kind of hold a container. That's a beautiful service. The business branding and sales coaching, and then the real estate. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Natasha, for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And everybody, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you all again next time. Take care.